Hey everyone. Yes, I'm here. I'm back. I'm still alive. Things have been up and down. Maybe I will tell you more about that later. But for now, I thought I would get back into making videos and we'll start with something nice and easy, an update on what's been happening with the Jararium. Now, I have heard the sentiment expressed. People wondering why I haven't done more updates about the jar. Now, what if I told you it's because everything in the jar died? That's not the case. Not everything has died, but let's take a closer look and I'll bring you back into the world of the jar. So, contrary to the expectations of many an internet naysayer, this jar has not become an aquatic hellscape infested with snails and planaria. All the inhabitants seem to be in relatively good balance as far as I can tell. And as you may have already noticed, there are some new denizens of my underwater realm. You can see here these little red cherry shrimp, which are just milling around here on the rock because I put out some food before I started this video. Now, I personally find these very adorable critters, but not everyone seems to think so. When I tell people that I am rearing shrimp, they tend to ask me if I'm going to eat them, which makes me a little bit sad. So, I have had no real problems in terms of keeping everything in the jar well maintained, except for the shrimp. So I introduced them several months ago. I started with 6, then the numbers dropped a little, and then I put some more in. And I would lose about 1 every month. So I wasn't sure why that was happening, and then I observed that it seemed to be happening after water changes, and I thought I was doing the water changes relatively slowly, but evidently I wasn't doing them slow enough for this tiny jar. So I've decided to do water changes over very long periods of time, just manually with a little scoop. And after doing that, I haven't observed any more die-offs, which is promising. So I got 6 in the jar at the moment. The 2 redder ones in the foreground, except for that little dude there. Those 2 red ones are females, I believe, because they are redder in color and they have a curved undercarriage. And the other 4 are males. Now, I have not observed them with eggs. There was one that was pregnant very early on, but then she dropped all her eggs, which was kind of sad. And then shortly after that, she died from, I assume, one of my inept water changes. Now, I actually learned that the way you know that a shrimp has died in a little jar like this is not because you observe the shrimp dying, it's because the planaria in the jar turn red the next day. So it's a bit like a murder scene. The little flatworms, I don't know if you saw them in an earlier video, but they just change the color of whatever they just last ate. So I've seen them turn yellow, no idea what they ate when they turned yellow, maybe one of the snails. But they turn red when they eat the shrimp, and it's kind of bizarre. I'll see if I can find one of the little flatworms. But yeah, I know a lot of people don't like to see flatworms and snails in their jar, but I figured, there we go, that little dude, he's cute. I figured, I'll leave everything in the jar. The flatworms are really the only sort of predation, only real predators in this jar. Nothing's gone dramatically out of whack. Even the algae seems to be relatively stable. Apart from this kind of algae that you see here, this little green tuff, I have to pull that out of the tank weekly, but it's not too severe. The other thing is that it's gotten colder now. According to my little weather station, it is 19 degrees ambient in this room right now. It gets as cold as I think about 16 or 17 during the night. It's not too bad, but I have had to turn the heater on because the shrimp started to lose their color at that temperature. So it's that little reptile heater that I had before. I think it's bigger, the 3-watt version of this one, but I'm using the transformer from the 1-watt just because I don't want to cook the jar.
it's hooked up to this Belkin smart switch. You know, this is incredibly elaborate, but basically it's just a Wi-Fi power plug that's programmed to turn on when the temperature in this, the outside recorded temperature is below 19 degrees Celsius using if this then that applets. Now, I would prefer it if I had another device that would monitor the actual temperature inside the house and then relay that to the switch so that it would know, you know, with more accuracy when to turn it on and off. But it's all right now. It seems to be doing its job. It heats the water to be about, you know, a little more than 3 degrees above ambient, which is fine with me. I don't want it to get too extreme because, again, I don't want to come home and find out that they've all been cooked, even though I think that would satisfy many seafood lovers out there. It's about 3 degrees above ambient, so 22 degrees in this jar. I think if it was a little warmer, the shrimp would probably be more likely to breed, but then the algae growth would probably accelerate as well. So I'm content to leave it as it is and see the path open up before us. I watched Alien Covenant last night, so let me know in the comments if you liked that movie. I thought it was better than Prometheus, but a movie about basically the disaster is poor protocol planning. You know, you put a bunch of people who don't behave like scientists or Marines in charge of a multi-billion-dollar colonization vessel, and then you get what happens in that movie. Anyway, probably going to wrap it up, but just point out that the shrimp are awesome. I highly encourage this. Just experimenting with an aquarium or a gyrarium. Now, I've read that some people believe that this sort of thing is, you know, it's fake. It's a setup. You know, like there's no way that this kind of stuff will survive. I mean, I guess it hasn't. I don't have a thriving colony here, but there's no way that this kind of stuff will survive without carbon dioxide injection and all that sort of thing. Apart from the heater, I really don't do anything else to sort of maintain the ecology of this jar, and all the plants have grown fine. They've grown more than fine, actually. You can see that they probably need a trim, which is a sort of annoying process. But everything's been going fine. The shrimp are very cute. They're not the most intelligent of animals. They will fight over food pellets when there's another food pellet right next to them. Don't know why. I've been trying to associate the sound of feeding. I mean, I use these little things to put food pellets into the water. I've been trying to make them associate this sound with the idea that food is up, but they still seem to take half an hour to find the food, which is funny because everything else in the jar, you know, it's really weird. As soon as something dies in the jar, the flatworms and the snails rush over, so I don't know what's wrong with the shrimp. Yeah, these are really relaxing, enjoyable little critters. Highly recommended. I will see you soon with another video. And let me know how you've been going. It's been a while. And talk to you later.